I am the sun, the star at the center of your universe.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get in trouble. But you have done it now and cannot go back. I don't know if it is haram. Khair inshallah.
Thanks, Jiddu. Jiddu, I wanted to ask if it's halal to buy lottery tickets. They're so cheap and we could make a lot of money.
I don't know if it is halal or haram, but never think about something like that again.
Okay, I was just asking. Jiddu.
تعبتني. What do you want now?
I just wanted to ask if the sweet beef gelatin is halal or haram.
You're supposed to check it before buying it, not after. I don't know if this is halal or haram.
Okay.
What now? I am trying to relax. Why do you keep asking me? تعال هنا الخاطر الله. Just go watch Ahkam SOS. Any question you have, they can answer you. You can call them, message them, anything. Ask as much as you like. They can answer any question from any marja, okay?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Now, this is a live show. We're taking all of your questions, and you may have a question on any topic whatsoever. It may be food, drink, traveling, business, finance, marriage, divorce. It could be on history, on hadith. Any question you have in regards to Islamic law, please send them in via the WhatsApp. The number is there on the bottom. Scan the QR code. If you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, put your questions in the comment section, and inshallah the technical team will be able to send them to me, and we will be able to answer your queries. I'm your host, Mohsin Shia, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Ma'ash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing this evening, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah.
Fantastic. Sheikhna, when we discuss imamah in the Quran, we always have that famous ayah, which is those have authority over you is Allah, the Prophet, and those who have authority amongst you. Ul al-amr is the word used in Arabic. We say this refers to the Imams, the 12 Imams. Who are the Ul al-amr? Have we any hadith, or have the Imams themselves discussed this ayah and said that, yes, here the Quran is mentioning us. We are the Ul al-amr.
Inshallah. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. In the book of Kafi al-Sharif, we have a narration by Abu Basir, one of the Imams, Ashab and narrator of the hadith. He says that I asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam about the tafsir of this particular ayah that you mentioned.
Yes.
Because we take our tafsir initially and the ta'wil from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, in which the Holy Prophet left two weighty things, the Book of Allah and his progeny. Because only the progeny have the authority, the knowledge, the ability and capability to give us the correct tafsir and correct meanings of the Holy Quran. Nobody else has this access to this information of the tafsir and the ta'wil of the Holy Quran. Indeed. So Abu Basir says to the Imam that about the meaning of this verse in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 59. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ. The Imam said, alayhi salam, فقال نزلت في علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام والحسن والحسين سلام الله عليهم. That this ayah, which is to do with Ulul Amr, was revealed upon Imam Ali, Imam al-Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim salam, because they were present on that time. So when this verse was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the angel Jibreel alayhi salam, of course, they were present. And of course, that doesn't mean it wouldn't include the rest of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So it would automatically would also cover the Imams from Imam Hussein salamullah alayhi all the way to Imam Mahdi ajallahu farajahu sharif as well.
Inshallah.
So the ayah is very clear that Ulul Amr is connected to Rasulullah in terms of obedience. So obey Ulul Amr, obey Rasulullah, and obey Allah Azza wa Jalla. If you go like a reverse side, it's a chain, connected chain of purity, of infallibility and usma of those three aspects. And there's no one in this world who would say that the Khulafa from the Saqifa time to the Amawids and Abbasids were infallible, because they could commit, and they committed mistakes and even sins and even crimes against humanity. So nobody can say that they were actually infallibles except Ahlul Bayt, because they have ayah that Allah purifies them thorough purification. وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا.
Yes.
Nobody has this status and this level of purity except Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.
Ahsant.
And of course, Allah would not, God forbid, would order something and then it comes out the opposite. So He wouldn't say, follow Ulul Amr, believe in them as you believe in the Prophet and obey them. Do the same thing with the Ulul Amr. So if the Ulul Amr is not infallible, is fallible, and he could commit sin and mistakes, then it's going to be a conflict between Allah says, follow him, and the other hand says, don't follow him because he's committing a sin. So there's no way that Ulul Amr are only Ala Muhammad salamullah alayhim. Nobody can deny that, because Ulul Amr, if it's Hukam that we had in the past history like Muawiyah and so forth, they committed crimes, they committed sins, they committed awful acts. Just the battle of Siffin was suffice enough on killing thousands of Sahaba and Tabi'een as a result of Muawiyah waging war against Ali alayhi salam. So you can't call him a just Khalifa, because he went against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And his army killed Ammar bin Yasir. So Sahabi killing Sahabi eventually. How come he's part of the just and pleased by Allah Sahaba, or Mubashar bil Jannah? So with the evidence, through the narrations, through the Holy Quran, through the aql, the rule of reason, we can discover that only Ahl Bayt can take this position of the Imam and the Wilaya and Khilafah.
Ahsant. Just a quick reminder to all our viewers that this is a live show. We're taking your questions. If you have any question you'd like to ask, scan the QR code in the corner. You can send it to us on WhatsApp. If you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, put your questions in the comment section and inshallah we'll be able to discuss and answer your questions. If you want to call in, 0203 515 0199 if you're in the UK. And if you're outside the UK, just call the WhatsApp number there on the bottom and the studio will put you through to myself. Sheikhna, loads of questions coming in from YouTube, so let's get cracking. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I was uncertain if I had wudu, so I still prayed. And after I finished my prayer, I remembered I didn't have wudu. Do I need to pray qadha for these prayers?
Definitely, if you pray without wudu, the salah is not salah, it's batil. It's just a movement. It's just a, let's say, tasbih and dhikr and reciting surah outside the salah.
It's like driving without a license. You can drive fine, but you haven't got the prerequisite required to be on the road. From YouTube, I took a picture of my really elderly male neighbor. I observed hijab, but at the time I thought nothing of it. Is this permissible?
So was he a male or a female, this neighbor, for example?
It's a male.
Right, so took a picture from the... So what's the problem then?
I don't see the issue. There's no issue. From YouTube, I had a dispute with someone, but I left the situation with Allah, but I didn't verbally apologize. Is this allowed? Good question. Sheikh, it happens a lot. Sometimes we're talking and there's disagreements, there's disputes, there's issues, and for the time being, you don't want to speak to that that person because maybe you feel angry, maybe what's going to come out of your mouth isn't very pleasant, maybe you need some time to calm down. But you haven't apologized yet. Is that okay?
If there was a right or haq taken away, insult, for example, of course you have to go and say, I'm sorry, forgive me, kada, kada, ila akhirih. But it's just a quarrel or argument, then you can say astaghfirullah and may Allah forgive him as well. So pray for him and ask Allah for forgiveness.
From YouTube, does a female imam pray in the middle when praying with two other sisters?
It seems to be they stand all in line together. Yeah.
Okay.
It's different than the
Does she stand in the middle, on the left, on the right?
Well, she's in the middle, of course.
Okay.
You've got sisters around her.
Okay, fine. From YouTube, what is the significance of wiping the face after a dua? Sheikh, we do this all the time. We have a dua, and when we finish, we go like this.
To get the blessings from this dua. You know, we have also mentioned that when you the specific verses you recite, you put your both hands in front of your face. You recite for protection from the evil eye and so forth. You recite Surah Al-Hamd, Falaq al-Nas, and you wipe, so that inshallah would have that protection.
Inshallah. From YouTube, Salam, does Maghrib become qada after its time has ended, or do you have until midnight to pray both Maghrib and Isha?
Different opinions with this regard in terms of if it's intentional, unintentional. Let's say for a lady who becomes pure in the middle of the night, of course she has an excuse, she prays, even if it's 1 hour before Fajr Adhan, she can easily pray Maghrib, Isha with no issues. Or if it's intentional, then you pray without any, no adha, no qada, and so forth.
From YouTube, can I dye my bed orange? Okay, Sheikhna, there's two things here. One is putting the henna on the bed, and it looks orange. And one is to actually get hair color dye orange and to put that on your bed and so forth. So, can I dye my bed orange?
As long as the mu'min doesn't look funny or
strange,
embarrassing, you know, you have to put that respect of the mu'min. You have to preserve that respect and dignity of the mu'min somehow.
But dyeing the hair, Sheikhna, dyeing the hair, dyeing the beard, hiding the greys, this is something that was encouraged by Rasulullah?
Yes, it's mentioned. It's mentioned that they used to do it in the battles to show to the enemy that we have young people, pretend that they are young
and strong.
So he would bring, let's say, old people in their 50s, 60s, for example, and they would dye their beard, they stay black, to show that they're young. So that's the reason for it.
From YouTube, a mother sent her son to a magician because she thought he was possessed, and the son and mother are the son and the mother both apostates. Okay, so a mother sent her son to a magician / exorcist because she thought there was like a black magic being done on him. Is the son and the mother, have they left Islam because they believe in this?
They have committed sin if that actually harms this child and somehow they have. If there's some kind of promoting, let's say, falsehood, you know, sometimes you follow somebody who is on the wrong track, somebody, a cult, for example, you follow that cult, for example. So it depends really, but anyhow, one should withdraw back quickly and ask Allah's repentance and istighfar, just to avoid in future, inshallah.
Inshallah, ahsan. From YouTube, assalamu alaikum ajma'een. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Is it permissible to wear Hirs Imam al-Jawad outside of wudu in the bathroom, or is it required to remove it when one loses wudu?
No, you can still have, you know, that Hirs, that's fine. There's no condition that you must be on in the wudu. There's no compulsion or wujub that you have to have wudu in order to wear it. What we have the wujub for the wudu is when you want to touch the verse of the Holy Quran, then you have to make sure that you have the wudu.
From YouTube, I can't perfect my R pronunciation in Arabic. What do I do? You need to keep practicing, you need to keep trying, go to a teacher. I know it's difficult, even I had to learn it as well. I still have trouble with it sometimes, but practice does make perfect, and it's all about where you put your tongue and how you, place your tongue and how you get the mouth has to be in the right shape to allow the sound to come. However, Sheikhna, a lot of people do have problems reciting in Arabic, getting the right words out. Ayn is really hard for a lot of people. Sa and La and Ra apparently is also difficult. What advice do you have for those learning Arabic who have difficulties with certain sounds and letters?
As you've mentioned, practice and try your best until inshallah you get to that position that you can pronounce it correctly.
For those who just can't get it, isn't their du'as are not accepted, their Quran is wrong? Or is there some leniency towards those who are trying?
Interestingly, when the Holy Prophet ﷺ came to Mecca after the conquest of Mecca,
Yes.
so Bilal al-Habashi from Habasha, is it Ethiopia today? I
Yes.
think, yeah. He was given the task of calling for the adhan. So he used to say ashadu. They came to prove that you can't pronounce sheen.
Yeah.
He said sinu Bilal sheen and Allah Azza wa Jal. So even if he says ashadu, but Allah would count as ashhadu.
Ashhadu.
That's his
The thing is,
ability.
he had sincerity and he was trying his best.
Exactly, yeah.
And if that's all he could do, that's all he could do. I've seen and heard so many that do not what you call it? They're not trying, and unfortunately for them, it's like you can do better and you're not, and you should be. From YouTube, is it permissible for men to dye their hair? Yes, we've established that. That was a question from before. From YouTube, can you prostrate on a prayer bead, misbah, sibha, I think they call it in Iraqi, because the prayer beads are made into small beads, meaning it won't fully cover the forehead when you prostrate on it. Sheikh, now some of these are made out of plastic, some are made of wood, some are made out of mahar, khak.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to prostrate on those? Is it an issue because they're too small, they don't really cover the forehead?
No, if they're collectively gathered and pushed into each other, and they're from, as you said, clay or wood, or let's say soil, then you can pray on
the
that.
plastic one, can you put?
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't.
Fine. Another thing, Sheikh, now, when we do sujood, our forehead has to touch the floor, our hands has to touch the floor, our knees and the big toes of the feet. Now we can wear socks and put our our feet down and our toes will touch the ground and we can feel the ground. What about those who wear a hat or maybe a scarf or something on top of the forehead and they're going to sujood? Is that okay? Is that acceptable or that's not okay? The skin has to touch the mohar.
Yeah, the skin should touch the ground, definitely. The mahar, definitely, yeah.
From YouTube, can we do istikhara to make a judgment whether a person is good for us for marriage, and can it be done and ignored and still move forward?
Yes, istikhara is good when it comes to
Marriage.
indecision and somebody who is hesitating in terms of, let's say, marriage or buying a business or traveling and so forth. Yes, you can do so. But to go against it if it's bad, I've seen it myself and experienced, and I went to someone's wedding and a long time ago, and eventually they divorced after a few months. And it came out that they took istikhara before this wedding to take place, and it was bad.
Yes.
But the father refused. He ignored the istikhara, and he went on with the marriage.
Yes.
But afterwards, they discovered that one of the sides was actually not suitable for this family, and they ended up with a divorce. So stick with the istikhara. Yes, if it's good, you can, let's say, not do it. It's up to you. But if it's bad, and you don't want to, let's say, you want to go against it, at least give sadaqah. But I wouldn't recommend to go against the bad istikhara. That's important.
From YouTube, what do I do when Imam is 2 stages ahead of me because I'm slow in prayer? Okay, so this must be in Jama'ah. Let's say that I've joined in, Salah. I've done Qiyam. I've gone into Ruku. He's on his second sujood and he's about to stand up. What do I do?
I mean, you wait until he goes to the ruku' next part of the salah, so you can join him with the ruku'. Because if you miss it, then you miss it.
But what if I'm already in the prayer? I started at the same time.
Right.
Takbir al-Ihram. I'm doing my Surah Al-Hamd. I'm doing my Surah. He's gone into Ruku. I've gone into Ruku. He's gone into sujood. Up, second sujood. He's going to stand up now. I haven't even gone into sujood yet. He's ahead of me. He's praying too fast.
If you miss the acts of the Imam in the salah, you miss the Jama'ah, then of course your salah would automatically switch to solo Farada salah automatically. So you have to finish by yourself.
Fair. From YouTube, telling a seller that an item is low value while telling a buyer it's high value to make profit, is this permissible?
What is important that there's no cheat or deception within the transaction. Very important. You understand that this is your product. You know it inside out.
Yeah.
If it's good quality, bad quality, it's up to you. You have to make the decision. You're selling something that, let's say, I remember back in some countries, they used to buy Chinese products, or they will stick on it German, made in Germany. مثلا. That's a clear deception and fraud and so forth. So you have to make sure that what you do is actually correct and valid.
From YouTube, what's the ruling on prostrating onto Umber Kaban? Kahraman.
If it's not part of the earth, سجد على الأرض, or what cannot be worn or eaten, then you can. But kahraman, I think it's like a plastic or something.
It's a yellow stone, apparently, very, very old.
As I've said, we have to see if it's like aqiq, then again you can't pray on aqiq. And if it's part of the gemstones, let's say, then it's a problem as well.
Okay.
It depends really. Yeah.
Does a person become a kafir if he sits in the place where kufr is being spoken about and does not leave?
We have a statement, maybe it's a hadith or a statement, that whoever listens to someone, من سمع إلى ناطق فقد عبده. If somebody listens to a speaker, then he has in somehow followed that. Abada means worship, but let's say he would follow that person who speaks. فإن كان من الله فقد عبد الله وإن كان من الشيطان فقد عبد الشيطان. So if that speaker was Allah's follower or believes in Allah Azza wa Jalla, he would actually listen to what Allah has told. Otherwise, he would follow the shaitan. Na'udhu billah. So one should not attend such falsehood and corruptive, speaking sessions and so forth to avoid it.
From YouTube, app shows me the wrong qibla and there are no Muslims around me, around to help me. What do I do? Sheikh, it happens sometimes. You're in a place you need to pray. Service station. You go to a service station on the motorway. It's a good place to pray, have a break. Everyone there is normally English. You hardly ever see a Muslim person there. And you're looking for which direction is the qibla in. Your phone app doesn't work or is giving you the wrong directions. What do I do in that situation?
The fuqaha mention in overall that if you're in the middle of the desert and you don't know which side is the exact side of the qibla, or even to some people can actually find out through the sunshine which side is the qibla.
Well, as long as you know which way north is, south or east, then you can work it out.
Exactly. But otherwise, if you're really blank with this regard and you have no idea, then you have to pray 4 sides.
And 4 directions. Fair. Can I pay a bribe to get into an Islamic school? That's a good question. I want to go into an Islamic school, Sheikhna.
Right.
Or let's say I've recently moved to the city. I'm not happy with any of the schools. There's an Islamic school, they're fully booked, or there's no space. Or my son or daughter doesn't meet the requirement. Am I allowed to say, look, I can give a nice donation to the school if you allow my son or daughter to come in? Is that okay?
You see, it shouldn't be under the title of or the subject of bribery or rashwa or any kind of these titles. Honestly, you're paying donation to support them. Or you're paying somebody who does some kind of work for you, let's say. So you have to avoid bribery, rashwa, and so forth.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Can you pray in a room that has a drawing or photograph of a person as the book cover? Or with a t-shirt that has a drawing of a person or a drawing or photo hanging of a person on the wall?
In overall, to pray in a room where there's a picture of a human being, let's say, or any soul being, animals for example, then it's discouraged and makruh. And makruh, with this regard, some ulama would say that it decreases the thawab and the reward in somehow. So one can actually cover that picture, for example, and start praying.
Sheikhna, we're going to go to a short break, but continue our discussion after. So carry on sending in your questions, and inshallah we'll be able to discuss them after this short break. See you after this.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of
Is it
scholars
permissible
at
to
home.
plant trees by or
Was
over
Islam
the graves?
established based on peace and
Is it
non-violence?
permissible to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there
countries?
an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures
Is
of
it
scholars at
permissible to
home.
plant trees by or
Was
over
Islam
the graves?
established based on peace
Is
and
it permissible
non-violence?
to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there
countries?
an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
Yes, send in your questions via WhatsApp. QR code should be in the corner there. You can scan that and go straight to our WhatsApp page. If you're watching on Facebook Live, or if you're watching on YouTube, put your question in the comment section, inshallah. And you can put your comments there as well if you'd like. And inshallah, they'll send the questions to me here. If you want to call in, 0203 515 0199. Or if you're outside the UK, just call a WhatsApp number and you can put you straight through to myself. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Got loads of questions here, Sheikhna, so let's get cracking. Nowadays, it's not feasible to divide Hadi into 3 shares. How Hadi, or I think it's Hadiyah, into 3 shares. Even the authorities prevent the owner of Hadi to eat from it. Something they prevent distributing Hadiyah on the poor and the believers. What should one do?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're allowed to take out this hadi, then you can do so and give it to the poor. Or you can consume it in your group,
Yeah.
basically if you're in Hajj, then you can use it within the brothers who are there and the sisters who are there in that group. Yeah.
From YouTube, is an illegitimate child obliged to take care of their mentally ill mother?
What's wrong with it? Even if it's
Illegitimate.
yeah,
He still has a responsibility. He or she.
as a human being, yeah.
From YouTube, how do I pray when we are limited to specific working hours in my job? Am I sinful if I exceed my prayer time? Okay, good question. Sheikhna, a lot of people have this question. I'm on a shift, I can't leave my post. My shift starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and I finish at 6 at night. And Dhuhr is between 12 and 4 o'clock. You know, if I get my break, I get to pray. If I don't, then I miss it. What do I do? How does it work?
Usually you have 2 breaks, a tea break and you have a lunch break. And plenty of time to do the wudu and salah straight away. So just schedule your time that comes with the adhan time. So you pray first and then you have your lunch and tea break.
I used to go to work with my wudu, and then I'll be like, can I go to the toilet quickly? They'll be like, go to the toilet, I'll quickly run, pray, come back. I mean, people take smoke breaks, people take, breaks to meditate and focus and breathe and exercise and things like that. So I don't understand why you can't take a break for a prayer. YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Shaji and Sheikh. Alaikum salam. What is the fatwa for Ayatollah Shirazi regarding marriage of a Sayyid girl with a non-Sayyid boy? We consider it haram because many of our ulama consider it haram.
Go back to the masail al-shar'iyya of every marja' in this world. Shia marja' 12 usuli. You will never ever find that somebody has given a fatwa that is forbidden for a non-Sayyid man to marry a Sayyid girl. It's impossible you find it. Even Ayatollah Bashir Najafi, who is from Pakistani origin, a marja', alim, respected, mu'min, you can see his fatwa. This is something I think came up of culture and somehow, I don't know.
It's to do with aqidah and it's to do with culture. And I'm pretty sure that even Sheikh Bashir Najafi, may Allah protect him, even he has a fatwa, I think, for Pakistan only, for those where if a Sayyid girl is to marry a non-Sayyid man, they can be like bloodshed, then it is forbidden for that to happen.
I'm talking about normal situations.
In general, in general, many of our ulama don't see it as an issue for
because when it comes to bloodshed or we have taqiyya, you can pray like العامة if
Yeah.
you're in a life-threatening situation in
Yeah.
Afghanistan and Pakistan and so forth. Yeah.
From YouTube, if I make a mistake in a sunnah or a fard act in prayer, must I make it up?
If that
Mistake
salah,
in mustahab.
no, if the salah is wajib
Yes.
and it was without the conditions of correct salah, then you have to make it up later as qada.
Okay.
That's it, really.
If the rukn was not there.
Sorry?
If the rukn wasn't there.
Yeah, let's say.
If you're missing one of the rukn.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Missing rukun or no wudu, for example.
From YouTube, can you do tasbih zahra while walking after finishing your prayer, or just you do it sitting after prayer?
They recommended in the narration that to sit when you finish the salah,
Yeah.
to start the tasbih straight out without moving, without changing the posture of your
Yes.
salah position and seating.
What are the recommendations for tadabbur of the Quran?
Tadabbur, of course. I mean,
What's
tadabbur is to reflect and ponder into
Okay.
the meanings of the Holy Quran.
Okay.
I mean, there's a book called Tadabbur fi Quran by Ayatollah Muhammad Rida Shirazi.
Okay.
May Allah bless his soul.
This-
And it's a very nice book in terms of tadabbur. How he teaches how to start tadabbur and reflect in the Holy Quran. For example, he says that when you see an ayah, make sure you read the verse before it and after it.
After, yeah.
They call it siyaq al-ayah. What connects this ayah to the
Yeah.
others? And don't just concentrate on this ayah and focus on it. You have to have a broad knowledge
Yes.
in terms of the ayat of the Quran. So that's part of the tadabbur.
From YouTube, is communicating with non-mahram men for business reasons permissible? Sheikh, if I am female working I work for a big company, international, we're always on the phone, we're trying to sell things, we're back and forth, making invoices and trading and so forth. Am I allowed to talk to men if I'm a female?
As long as the hijab and the dignity and the chastity and the modesty is implemented and preserved, there's
Strictly
no issue.
professional.
Ahsant.
How are you doing today, sir? What would you
Ahsan.
like to order? What do you need? Okay, I can get this to you at this time. Fine. From YouTube, why Mawla Ali alayhi salam changed the capital from Medina to Kufa?
Well, because of the situations that took place. Anyhow, because of the war of the Battle of Jamal, and eventually the capital became Kufa as a result. After Iraq was taken by the Muslims in the time of Umar Khattab, when they conquered Iraq and they took over the other side of the of Euphrates River, which was controlled and governed by Iranian Persian king in that time. And of course, they conquered, they killed, and they changed even the aqidah and the belief of the Iranians in that time from the disbelief or whether they used to believe into Islam eventually.
From YouTube, must I keep ties with relatives I've never met before or don't know?
I mean, if you know them, of course, it's good, mustahab, to have this Salatul Rahm, as they mentioned.
Yes.
To have this connection, even by saying salam over the text message or WhatsApp or phone call.
Is it better for a woman to pray Salat al-Layl, funeral, and Friday prayers at home or in the masjid?
I mean, for Salat al-Layl, for the one, usually these are salats, it's for yourself, and it's not for the private. So you don't want to pray them in front of the people in the middle of the night. So you would pray them somewhere isolated from the people. This is how the secret of the salah. Other salawat, if the hijab is preserved, why not? We can go and join.
Okay, Sheikh, we've got 10 minutes and we've got about 12 questions to do, so let's do as quick as we can. From YouTube, is it okay to enter the bathroom with jewelry that has the inscriptions of the 14 infallibles, alayhi salam, or the names of Allah al-Hasana?
As long as they don't get impure and najis, should be fine.
From YouTube, must a person expiate every time he breaks an oath?
Yes, if the oath is shar'i, wallahi, billahi, tallahi, then of course you have to pay the kafara.
What is the ruling on working in a warehouse where there is a percentage of haram goods being handled? Let's for argument's sake, let's say it's not pork and it's not alcohol, but haram beef, haram chicken.
And they have drinks and they have, let's say, fruits and vegetables. That should be fine, because we've got many Muslims who work in giant supermarkets now in the UK, in Europe.
So as long as there's no pork and alcohol, you're okay.
I mean, your income wouldn't be from this part of the income of the company.
How many seconds should the mud be when reciting Waladhalin in Al-Fatiha and when reciting Wama Adraka Ma Laylatul Qadr in Surah Al-Qadr? These are tajweed questions.
I mean, we can answer. For the dhalin, it's up to 4. Dhalin, and then
I think that's two count. Yeah, 2 count for that one. MashaAllah, Sheikh, I didn't know you knew tajweed.
Inshallah.
From YouTube, when one does sujood, is it an issue if the toe other than the big toes touch the ground, or is it okay as long as it is the toes that are touching the floor? Okay, sometimes the big toes have to touch. Is it okay if the other toes touch as well, or should they not touch at all?
And mainly we would put the big toe on the ground. So from now on, try to.
But if the other toes touches as well?
No, it's okay.
It's fine?
No issues, yeah.
What is the ruling on eating and drinking on airlines that serve non-halal food?
You just have to eat the veggie or vegan food.
Eat and drink the halal one, which is the vegetarian or vegan, and make sure you don't drink the alcohol.
By the way, there's a brother who asked about buying chests for decoration.
Yeah,
I found out that it's even forbidden for the one just to buy the chess for the purpose of decoration in his house without playing, without an intention of playing.
Fair. How to do sajda shukr according to Ayatollah Sistani?
I haven't seen exactly his fatwa with regard, but the shukr is very known. Say it 3 times, shukranallah, shukranallah, shukranallah.
Yeah,
that's the main one. Yeah.
What is the ruling of buying rabbit or non-scaled fish food for our pets?
That's haram for us as a mukallafeen. Other animals have no taklif.
So we can buy for them?
Yeah, animals, they can eat anything.
From YouTube, if someone accidentally acquired and bought haram food and can't return them, like pork, non-halal chicken, food mixed with alcohol, etc., is it haram to donate it to a Muslim or feed them to an animal?
The problem, you cannot serve it to even non-Muslims who would consider as permissible in their faith, for example.
What's the ruling on making dua during ruku or sujood? Is it recommended? I think the final ruku and the final sujood is normally extended. This was done by Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, isn't it?
I'm not sure about this issue, that where this came from, that you extend the sujood, the last sujood.
Yes.
One of them was speaking about it, that if there's such a thing at all, but we usually we do it. Last sajda, we for example, we would say what Imam Kaban said, salamullah alayh, in the prison in Baghdad, Allahumma inni as'aluka ar-rahata 'inda al-maut wal maghfirata ba'da al-maut wal 'afwa 'inda al-hisab. That we ask Allah the ease in the time of death and the forgiveness after death.
I see.
Yeah.
From YouTube, can you touch the cover of the Quran if you aren't in a state of purification? Just the outside of the Quran, Sheikhna? Are we allowed to touch that?
If there's no words of Allah and the verses, because that's the haram.
Sheikh, is it haram to hide the truth from my patient with a life-threatening disease because bad news will result in mental deterioration and I know he will not handle his situation? So if I'm a doctor, I have a patient, and if I tell this person what's wrong, maybe he has a heart attack and dies. So should I not tell him?
Of course, you have to be careful because you don't want to kill this individual with the bad news. So take it easy, slowly.
I think the family members.
One should know the psychology of these situations.
From YouTube, does Al-Khoi say that gelatin made from pork and non-halal meat is to be halal because of istihala?
I've heard something like that.
I think all Maraja agree. If there is istihala...
Exactly. If you have the evidence that this has been transformed to a different substance, like burning, let's say, a dead dog into ashes. That's istihala. You transform it to something else.
Or when wine turns into vinegar. It's a new compound.
You have to prove it, by the way.
But the Maraja are not going to open up a science lab and try and figure out whether if gelatin has changed its state or not. You're going to have to do that yourself. From YouTube, is Surah Al-Hashr, verse 23, bad or good verse for istikhara?
I can't answer now because I have to look at the
We need to find out
Inshallah.
next week, or maybe call your local Sheikh and maybe he'll be able to do the istikhara for you. From YouTube, what's the ruling on those who interact with jinns? Is it halal, haram or kufr? Sheikh, now those who interact with jinns, if they interact with jinns, because it's quite, what's the word? Dramatized and exaggerated that people speak to jinns and so forth.
I mean, one should have the distance between him and those individuals. Because you have the type of people who would cause difficulties and calamity over because of this connection. And you have some mu'minin who would try to untie these situations. So they learn this knowledge, like like magic.
We've got about 2 minutes. We've got 5 questions.
Inshallah.
So let's do this. From YouTube, can I do istikhara once and mabda thrice when doing wudu? Oh, sorry, not istikhara. Can I do istinshaq once and madda thrice when doing wudu?
Yes, you can.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum. Are Muslims permitted to adopt orphans?
We
It's
have
encouraged.
a hadith. The Prophet says, "Ana wa kafil al-yatim kahatain." Me and the one who fosters, adopts an orphan, kahatain, like these 2 fingers.
What if they are from a different madhab or a different background? What if they're not even Muslim? Are we still allowed to adopt them?
Yes, you can. When they grow up, then they become of Shia Ahl Bayt. You guide them towards the right path.
Inshallah.
It's an opportunity, of course.
From YouTube, is it mandatory to do Salat or Sila al-Rahim with people that are evil?
Evil in terms of what? Like Abu Jahl, Tabbat Yaba, or Abu Lahab, Tabbat Yaba, Abi Lahab. It's very clear. When they become enemies of Allah and Ahl Bayt, of course,
Cut off from them.
rejected. Like Abu Lahab.
Can we give sadka to a non-Shia?
In general, to give sadaqah to human beings is something recommended. And to save a life, to save a being, that's something good in overall.
Final question for this evening, Sheikh. Are the hadith of I'm what my servant think of me? Arabic here, Ana inda than abdi bi. And I was a hidden treasure. Kuntu kanza makhfiya. Have any basis authenticity?
The problem, we have some ahadith in which, or statements in which, raised by those arfani or those who have went towards the mysticism route and path. So it's difficult to say if this is hadith or not hadith. We have to, do extensive research in terms of the chain of narrators and the context and the meaning of the hadith.
Fair. Sheikhna, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. Also, thank to all the viewers that have joined us. If we didn't answer your question, I do apologize. We've run out of time. To be honest, I ran out of questions. We've answered all of them. But just in case I missed one or two, I do apologize. The technical team will roll them over to the next episode, which will be, inshallah, on Monday, 7 p.m. here on Imam Hussein TV. If you have a question you'd like to ask, just scan the QR code and send it via the WhatsApp. If not, tune in live on Monday, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and then you can send it in the comment section, inshallah, and you'll be able to see it there. If you have other questions, why not join our TikTok page? We have a TikTok account. You can join that, Ahkam SOS, and we have different videos on there, and we interact as well with the comments, and we answer people's questions on the TikTok, so you can find us there, inshallah. Myself and the Sheikh will be back on Monday, 7 p.m. here on Imam Hussein TV 3. Join us then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.